Branding and marketing. What is the difference? The two often seem to blend together, but they are, in fact, two distinct important parts of your business. And as a marketing professional, I'm here to tell you that your brand comes first. And here's why. Hi, I'm Lindsay Berta, founder of Berta Marketing, a marketing agency designed specifically for small business owners where I handle all of your marketing so you can focus on what you love. Why does your brand come before anything else, including your marketing? I always start every client off first and foremost with a brand discussion. And today, along with my special guest, we will explain why it's so important to start with your brand. My guest today is Tim Beeler. He is part brand strategist, part brand therapist, and helps professional coaches get excited about who they are and what they can do. He's infinitely curious, always trying to uncover opportunities that will release coaches to create meaningful impact. Tim believes that with a little self-discovery and strategy, anyone can build influence, impact, and income through unique personal branding. All right, so I want to talk all about branding because people might be listening thinking, I thought this was a podcast about marketing because that's what I do. So why are we talking about branding? And Tim, you know why. Because branding is the foundation for everything that you will do in your business and in marketing. It's the starting point and it will infiltrate everything. It will determine your marketing strategy from what you post on social media to how your website performs to email marketing, all the way to client or customer experience. And I wanted you to join me in talking about this because you are always talking about the importance of one's brand and how the brand comes before anything else. So could you simply define what it means to have a brand and also kind of what happens if you don't?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I there's a lot of takes. I mean,
Yeah.
if you go on Google right now and you just searched, what is a brand or what is branding, like it is amazing the diversity and the breadth of definitions,
Yeah.
ideas. And what I think is really funny about that is exactly what branding is. It is what a brand is, excuse me. It's just a huge diversity of perceptions and opinions. So
Yeah.
I really like Marty Neumeier's definition that it's a gut feeling that people have about, a product, a service, a person.
Yeah.
And he goes further to say, like, you don't have a brand, you have 7 billion brands, because everybody who interacts
Yes.
has a different perception of you.
Mm-hmm.
Branding is kind of the art of, in whatever way you can, managing or crafting that perception to be one that aligns with like what you really want to offer.
Right.
So I like that. I like that definition, the idea of a gut feeling. I would go a little bit more and say, it's like the associations that people have with you, like even with your friends.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
I
yeah.
don't I don't think every human is a brand necessarily.
Yeah.
I think we can extrapolate a lot of the, what a brand is when we just think about like a regular human relationships. Like,
Mm-hmm.
what do I know you for? What do I expect when I'm around you? Like,
Yeah.
what do I anticipate? What experience is it like? What's your
Can I
personality like?
trust you?
Right? Can I trust you? And
Yeah.
it's like, to me, that's what a brand is. Well, what does that friend mean to you? What does it mean
Yeah.
to you, that person? Um,
Yeah.
that's what a brand is.
Yeah. And that determines too how loyal we become to, if you're going to use the person example, like we're loyal to certain people, we're loyal to certain brands. And that
Mhm.
typically comes down to, like I said, trust. And if you like them, and that all really comes from the brand because it's, who you are and, the value you bring and
Yeah.
all of that. And I do want to point out too that it's more than a logo because I feel like a lot of people are like, oh, I have my brand, I have my colors and my logo, but that's
Yeah.
really so surface level. That's really just like, well, if you're going to use the person example, that's really just your face. It's not who you are, right?
Right.
It's your identity.
Yeah. Think about the swoosh, like the Nike swoosh.
Yeah,
It's it is a beautiful symbol. Like it's super cool. It hits the golden circle, like all the geometry. Like
yeah,
it's an amazing symbol. But what does it mean
yeah,
on its own? Like if you had no conscious knowledge of Nike and you saw that symbol, you might say it's cool, but it has no meaning.
yeah. You would never just know it's shoes
Right. And so
without knowing the
everything
story.
is interjects itself into the symbol. So when you see the symbol, you have an immediate association with what the brand is.
Yeah.
That's all a logo is. It's quick connection.
Right.
So if you go out, like the first thing you do is you go out, you get a brand, a business name, and you get a logo. There's no association to
Yeah.
anything. And
Right.
it just passed over.
So it's not going to help you at all because someone sees it. They have no, like you said, there's no emotional connection to it. There's no story behind it. They don't know what it is or what it's about. So it's really not going to help you at all unless there's that story behind it.
Yes. I see
And
that is definitely, I think like you mentioned,
yeah,
like that's the saying, like business name, logo, let's go.
right. No, even when I work with clients, like there is a whole pretty much interview process before, and we, come up with, who you are, what do you want to be known for? What value are you bringing to clients or customers, that sort of thing. The very last thing we do is the visual stuff that comes at the very end. But I also wanted to ask you too, is, you talk about brand is the perception, how people see you, all of that. So if we're not kind of hopping on that before the public is, then what's going to happen? Because they're going to start to form their own opinions about us and everything if we're not setting up that initial background.
Yeah. There was a speechwriter, I forget which for which president.
Mm-hmm.
But he always talked about,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
He talks about framing the story, right? If you can get out ahead of something and you frame the story, then you set the story, you set the narrative, you set the expectation, you create the framework for it to live in. And to me, that's what branding is. It's about setting the tone for what you're going to be known as, what you're going to be known for, and then being, making sure that everything that you do is aligned around that idea. Again, you can never, I say you can never own your brand in the sense of like, you can't force somebody to perceive you in a certain way, right? That's just
right.
how it works.
Mm-hmm.
But you can frame the conversation so that there's a higher likelihood that they will perceive you in a certain way.
Yeah. Because I even know there's certain brands I love, but people I know aren't loyal to them like I am. And it's like, why is that? There's something, obviously I'm their target audience, but there's something there maybe that speaks to me that doesn't speak to them. Or maybe they had an experience that I didn't have and it shifted their perception. So there's just a lot of things that can go into that. And you want to have control of that, as much as you can.
Right. I say the control you have comes down to the things that you focus on, that you emphasize, and then the way you go about doing it, right? How the strategy behind it, what's your implementation of it? That's what you have control of. You never have control of how people receive it. And it's the exact same with your life. Like, think about like you're going to go in and ask your boss for a raise or something like that. Or you're going to tell your partner, something like really important. You could just, like have a couple cocktails and then go do it and see what happens. Or you could think about intentionally, like how might they react to this and how can I help them understand this information better? So like, should I, maybe I'll just throw it at them right when I know they're having a terrible day. I'll just throw this really important information at them. Like, or how about I just wait until like they're in a good headspace and I ask them, hey, can we talk about this? And I'd like to ask you this question. So I think about branding this the same way. It's about you're framing a conversation in a way that helps people understand who you are, what you do, how you can help them, what it means to be a part of you.
Yeah.
From your human relationships.
Yeah, that's a great way to look at it. Because I always say the same thing with marketing is, there's always a lot of analogies with dating and marketing.
Yeah.
So it's the same thing with branding. It's like letting people get to know who you are and doing it, like you said, in a way that, you're not just throwing something at them when they're not ready, that sort of thing. But yeah, so
you gotta wait. So you're an analogy person. I've got to ask you this.
Yes.
I don't know if this analogy is good, but I use it all the time.
Okay.
And the reason I don't know it's good is because I'm not a marketing person. So I always talk about, people confuse branding, marketing, sales, right? And there's a lot of overlap. So, in fairness, but I always talk about, Like branding is like getting dressed, doing your hair, doing your makeup, if that, brushing your teeth, like getting this thing ready, like getting
Yeah,
this person ready.
exactly.
Marketing is choosing where you're going to go, like where you're going to go, like what's the scene for you. And then
Mhm.
sales is like approaching that person at that place and like, would you like to dance? Would you like
Yes.
to talk? So I kind of use that as the
That's
separation of
that is a very good analogy.
the word. Okay.
Yes, I think that's a really good analogy. It's true because your brand is like how you present yourself to the world. Yeah, great analogy. And yeah, that does lead into marketing, like how branding affects your marketing efforts. Because like I said, you can't start marketing without knowing who you are, because then what are we marketing?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What are we telling the people? Where are we showing up? Who are we talking to? I can't do any of that unless I know the brand, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. And again, I'm not a marketing person, but I think
Yeah.
what I experience, what people misunderstand is that marketing is ads and funnels,
Yeah.
right? It's ads and
It's
funnels,
a
and you just,
part of it, a
right,
small
and you
part of it.
put
Yeah.
it out there. Um, but there's an alignment process that
Hmm.
goes through the whole thing, because I've seen people like amazing ads. Click the ad, you go to this landing page, and you're like, I'm not totally sure what
Am I
they
in the
do,
right place?
what's going on. Like, caught me
Yeah.
by surprise. And that's the branding part. Like, there's nothing there behind it. Great
Yeah.
ad.
Yeah. That's the problem too, is people like they might get one part, maybe their branding's fantastic, but then they're not connecting everything in a
Mhm.
way that works. Your website is a big part of it, making sure that that's set up in a way that it's speaking to your target audience. Again, there is an overlap there, right? Because the branding,
Yeah,
so making sure
absolutely.
that it's speaking to your target audience, but it's not just there to look pretty and give some information. Like, we want to make sure we're drawing people into the right places. Are we getting an email address perhaps, to capture leads and then drip on them, and then there's a certain sequence that we follow after that. So
Yeah.
yeah, there's a lot, but it does all start with branding. Because like you
Yeah.
said, if you see one thing and then you go to their website and it doesn't match, you get confused.
Yeah. And none of them are better than the other. So like
Mhm.
the house analogy is like, it's always the classic one, right?
Yeah.
It is the foundation of the house more important than the roof of the house, more important than the walls of the house. Like, I mean, you kind of need the whole house here. And so in some
Yeah.
ways, lighting is the foundation in the sense of it gives the framework. Um,
Hmm.
it's got all the basic core needs about what the business is. It's the definition of what the business is, and what the experience is supposed to be like. And then it's
Yeah.
marketing's job to bring that to life in how it engages with that target audience, right? And in what
Right.
place it ends up being. And then you have the sales part of it, right? That brings people into that, and it gives them the offer, and it shows them how
Yeah.
much they need it. So you've got to have all three of them, but
Hmm.
they have to interplay off of each other. So it can't just be all marketing. It can't just be all branding. It can't just be all sales, or else the whole
Yeah.
thing falls apart.
Yeah. And I love that analogy because in reality, if your foundation is crumbling or there's a crack in the foundation, whatever, you need to fix that because the whole house could whole house could crumble or. So it's a great analogy. And then, like you said, I like what you said about sales is, I would say marketing really is getting them in the door. So actually getting in the door of your house, but then
Yep.
sales, like, how did things go? Because are they going to come back? Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, these are some great analogies. I love them. I'm a big
Yeah.
analogy person.
There was so I'm stealing this from a friend,
Okay.
Elisa, but she says sales makes you money in the first quarter, marketing makes you money in the fourth quarter, and branding makes you money for your legacy.
Yeah.
It's the
That's
idea that
good.
you can't miss any of those pieces. Like,
Mm-mm.
you got the strongest brand in the world, but if you're not monetizing it, then you'll never make money.
Right.
You might have a lot of friends, but you
Yeah.
probably won't make any money. So they all go together, and they all have their own role to play in like the overall piece of your business.
Yeah. Oh, I love that because that's true. You could come out hot with some product or service, but then over time, if people realize, well, it's not the experience I thought it was, or it's, they don't do what I thought they did. Well, you're going to slowly lose that repeat business. Then word's going to spread that it's not what it seems to be.
Yeah.
And yeah. So again, that goes back to branding because as long as you're clear on who you are and what you offer and who you serve, all of that, everything else becomes a lot easier, after that. And so I want to talk about too, what can we, I want to make sure we get across to making sure that your brand is in line with your current business goals, because that can change. We talk about rebranding sometimes, or even a brand refresh. Or maybe you just didn't do it right in the first place. Sometimes you thought, you started with the logo and the colors, and now you're like, oh, wait, I don't really know. We don't really know who we are, who we serve. So what are, I guess, some questions that one could ask themselves or look objectively at their current brand and, just to evaluate themselves?
Yeah, it sounds like you and I have a similar approach to this, and you even said the phrase that I use. So if you want to do like a simple brand audit really quickly, I think you can ask that question: what do I want to be known for? And when you ask that question, you're not asking like what too many people answer that question with is like, I want to be known as a great blogger or a great speaker or a great, what experience do you want to be known for? What solution or result or outcome do you want to be known for? What emotion do you want to be known for conveying, or for, like those are the things you want to ask. And if you can audit yourself that way, I want to be known for X, then you can say, okay, great. Am I doing things that align with that outcome? Am I doing the things that am I in the right place? Am I in the right, another thing that I think people miss about marketing and social media is marketing. Like the platform you choose is marketing just by choosing the platform. So am I on the right platform, right? Am I marketing it correctly by being on the right platform? My offers, do they align with the thing that I want to be known for? My content pillars, do they make sense? Are they speaking back to the thing? Am I becoming known for this thing? Or am I like a monkey poo fight at the zoo where it's just stuff everywhere? There's no continuity. And I'm not known as a thing, because branding really, I mean, when you've done it really, really well, and you can look at top people in the world, they show you the like you are known for a word, and that word is a big word. So
I
like,
remember you talking about this.
He's just known for leadership, right?
Yeah.
That's a big word. That's hard to win at, but he's made it there. Brene Brown, vulnerability. Elon Musk, innovation. Like there's words that people become known for, and the things that they do align with that, which is why they became known for that. So to me, the simple thing, and it's simple in the sense of you can wrap your head around the question and the implementation. It's not always easy to answer that question. What do I want to be known for?
Yeah.
Talking to somebody else. But asking that question, answering it, and then doing that audit are my actions aligned toward that result?
And I love that you bring that up, because like you said, a lot of people are like, oh, well, well, for me, example, I'm in marketing. So, do I want to be known as the best marketing guru or whatever? But it's like, there are a lot of marketers out there. There's a lot of people that help with branding. There's a lot of people who sell shoes. There's a lot of people who, whatever it is. So that really doesn't make you stand out in any way. But like you said, it's what do you want to be known for? And the things that you're mentioning are almost more of a feeling.
Yes. Oh, absolutely.
Right? What do you want people to feel when they are working with you or buy from you? What's that experience? And that is definitely what you want to be known for.
Yeah, you can bring Maslow into this, right? So I did a study a little while back about places that were known for really great shoes. So Clark's familiar with Clark's shoes?
Yeah.
Known as really good shoes, high quality, durability, comfortable. They're just great shoes. $1.7 billion market cap. Wow. Nothing to shake a stick at. Not too bad. Nike, another quote shoe company. So Clark's is known for good shoes. Nike, another shoe company, is known for elite athletic performance.
I was just going to say performance popped in my head as soon as you talked about Nike. Yep.
And Nike's market cap was like 37 billion. So we have a 30x. And honestly, I mean, Nike shoes, all right, they're fine shoes, but they're not. So it's when you get into that stage, like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, as you get further away from the need. I need a pair of shoes.
Yeah.
right? I mean, Dr. Scholl's is probably the best shoe out there if you just need like a good pair of shoes, but they're ugly. And
Right.
right. So I need a pair of shoes.
Uh-huh.
To I want to be part of something. I want to be associated with something, right? I want people to
Yeah.
think of me in such and such a way. So like that self-actualization, which is the highest point of the pyramid, if you can get
Nice.
up into that place where that is the association people have with you and your
Yeah.
brand, then that, substantially increases your revenue, the emotional connection, the long term, like
Yeah.
they become rah rah fans for
Exactly.
you, as opposed to just like, oh, it's a shoe I bought one time and it was good, worked.
Yeah, right, right. And when that's funny you bring up fans because we always talk about like on social media and stuff, we talk about fans over followers. And it's
Yeah.
kind of the same thing with marketing, branding, all of that. You want people to be fans of you because fans are loyal, loyal. I mean,
Mm,
you could come out with a, really subpar product or something could go wrong and they give you the benefit of the doubt because you've proven that, you can provide that, something more than just the product or service itself.
yeah. Well, you go back
Yeah.
to like the relationship, like the people that you like,
Mhm.
you are willing to extend grace to,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
People might, and you're even willing to go so far is to provide like the excuse for them, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh no, they were just having a bad day. I know they're never like this, right? Like, oh,
Yeah.
like my son, like, oh, he just slept bad. That's why he's punching me in the face.
Right.
We'll create the excuse. So when we love, like, that's the connection point. When we love
Yeah.
something, like we're in, and that's
Yeah.
more than just like, yeah, that was fun. It was okay to
Hmm.
talk to them. Like they were interesting. They look like they're smart, or what, like you can get so much deeper. And so you need to think
Yeah.
of the brand like, and that's why I'm big on the humanizing brand. That's why I start, I
Yeah.
think it's like you start, I think you talked about this, like, who are you? I don't care what
Yeah.
anybody does. When they
Right.
work with me, I don't care what you do. We
Yeah.
start with who you are, what
Exactly.
change you want to bring into this world, like what your vision is, your mission, what you're passionate about, the
Yeah.
contribution, what you want to be known for, all these things. And then we say, great,
Hmm.
who does that connect with, and how can you serve them within your given skill set? And now that's what you do. Not
Yes.
not I'm a life coach.
Yes. I
Cool.
agree with this. And I wasn't even going to bring this up, but you just reminded me of it is, you said you don't care about what the person does. We want to get to know you. And so I know now marketing agencies in general, right? You have generalized marketing agencies who will work with everyone and anyone. You also have marketing agencies who are very, very niche. So maybe they only work with a very specific profession or people in a very specific service or something like that. That is one thing that I don't particularly love about someone who's very, very specific is that you can tend to fall into, well, we did this for this person who does the same job you do or has the same profession you do, so we're just going to do that for everybody. But
Yeah.
that's not what makes you stand out. Because like we just said, there's a million people who sell shoes. There's a million people who, have a cleaning service or
Mm,
whatever it may be. So if we're marketing you just like we're marketing everybody else, then you're not going to stand out. What's that special thing you do for your clients or customers,
yeah. Yeah, I
Mm-hmm.
think that's super important. And people miss that. And I hear it all the time. Like people will pick a broad category that they want to do. Like they want to be a coach. And
Mm-hmm.
so the next step, once you've said that, I'm going to be a coach, or I'm going to be a social media marketer, or whatever you're going to be,
Yeah.
we're going to be a candle business.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing you do is you naturally do things that candle businesses do, or that social media marketers do, or that coaches do, which, again, that's kind of like, hey, I want to hit the ground running hard, but there's no shelf life for that because
Yeah.
saturation, everybody else is doing that. And you need to bring it back to something bigger than that. In a
Yeah.
personal brand, again, I always say it's you, it's not what you do. And it's and
Mm-hmm.
it's not you in the sense of like your brand can never contain the totality of who you are as a human, and
Right.
but it's based on the bigger thing behind the outcome. And that's also how you're able to diversify as you go forward, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if you are known, like for the most niche thing in the world, I have no, like, if you're known for selling like pink trench coats for,
For
people in,
dogs.
for dogs, but not just for dogs, for French poodles,
There you go.
like, and then all of a sudden, like, you decide, I really have this passion for, like, hair and stuff. So now
Mhm.
I'm going to start selling, shampoo for dogs in general.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, you're pretty good with pink trench coats, but I don't know about the shampoo thing. Like, I don't know how that relates. I don't know how that connects to it. So now
Yeah.
you don't give yourself anywhere to go. But where, if you're like, we make products that make your dogs, beautiful. Now you can make your
Then,
trench coat. Now
yes.
you can make your shampoo. Now you can make 75,000 other things, and people aren't confused. Like, oh yeah, it totally makes sense because
Yeah.
they make beautiful dogs. Great.
Exactly. Yeah, because yeah, like you said, if you, that's the thing too, and I think you've talked about this about a lot too, is niching down. Like you don't have to niche down so far, and you probably
Yeah.
shouldn't, because like you just said, give yourself that, room to expand and explore other areas of your business and what you can offer.
Yeah. I think that's what leads people. I don't know how much time we have. I mean, I can
Oh,
talk,
it's fine. Yeah.
but I think that's what leads people to burnout and dissatisfaction and all that, is that they
Hmm.
shut themselves too far in by being known for an outcome or a thing, being known for a thing that's
Yeah.
too, right. And we're all humans. They've been doing this research lately, and I get some flack for this, but I don't believe in like the authentic self. And
Mm.
maybe it's just confirmation bias on my own part, but they've
Hmm.
been doing a lot of research lately that talks about how we as humans, there is no quote authentic of us. There's all these different pieces of us that we have
Right.
different at different times, right? There's a context to who we are,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
in the context we act in certain ways.
Oh, yeah, I
So
believe
there's
that.
not like find your authentic, only your only true purpose. Like, I mean, like, those things,
Yeah.
they change. And so if you've narrowed yourself so far down that when you're in a different context, or you have nowhere to go, and then you're like, well, now I'm locked into this thing because it's making me money, or people know me already, but I hate doing it and I can't change. And like,
Yeah.
that's why if you back out a little bit further,
Hmm.
think a little bit broadly, and think about it in terms, again, of who you are as opposed to what you do.
Yeah.
What you do is specifically in terms of an industry, but it could be also what you do in terms of an outcome. um,
Yeah.
then you have room to grow with you, because you're growing as a human. Like, you're not done. You're not like, hey, this is me and here I am, and
Right.
you're going to evolve and grow and change. And so you want to give yourself that kind of
Yeah.
latitude.
Yeah. Oh, I love that, because I've worked too with even myself. I used to work with a lot of financial professionals and really started to feel like I was in this bubble. Now, this was before I started Berta Marketing, and really started to feel like I was in this bubble. And when I started helping my own clients, it just opened up my mind to so many other creative ideas and outlets, and just ways I could help even the financial clients. So, yeah, if I would have just stayed stuck in that bubble, I feel that it would have hindered my ability to grow and expand my own services and what I can do for
Yeah.
clients, just because I was stuck in that niche. Yeah.
I love that.
So, yeah,
Something you said there, like, to me, innovation starts at self-discovery.
yeah,
Like, so many people, like, they stare at the thing, at the solution, at the problem, at the service, at the offer, whatever, and they look for, like,
yeah.
okay, how can I be innovative with this thing? But it starts with, like, who am I that's like interesting and different, and what can I bring to the table? And
Mhm.
like, you do marketing, but you also understand like the holistic aspect of not just the process, but of the person, and so
Yeah.
draw them out. And so you're like, well, I'm not just going to market. I'm going to make my marketing better by going this step backwards, and I'm going to pull out who they are, and we're going to figure out new ways that make sense. And like, that's where interesting things come from, and that's
Yeah.
where also the connection comes from, because you're no longer like part of the clone army. You're
Mm.
out, oh, this one's got some personality to it. That's a little bit different. I've never seen that take, and it doesn't feel
Yes.
tchotchke, and it doesn't feel like shtick, or a gimmick or anything
Right.
like that. It just feels like, wow,
It
that was really
stands
honest.
out. It's funny because I was on, I don't know if you're on TikTok at all, but as a consumer of TikTok, I can get down a rabbit hole pretty fast on there. So, but I was on TikTok and came across actually came across a lawyer and came across a dentist. Now, when we think about lawyer, we often think very serious, very to the point, very stern, very professional. And I came across this lawyer and he's sitting there and it started out very serious. Like he was talking about, his accomplishments and what he does for clients and stuff like that. And he had two secretaries in the back and they started giggling and laughing. It was all part of it, but it looked very authentic and very real, but it was their idea. So,
Mhm.
and they were pretty much laughing at him because he was saying all these like great things he did. And he was like, what? Like, and then the video just stopped, but it really grabbed my attention. And you look and he has millions of views and followers and likes. And it's because it's different. He wasn't stuck in that, this is how lawyers act and this is what I'm supposed to do. He tapped into his personality
Yeah.
and brought it out. I saw the same thing with a dentist. A dentist was on there. And again, you think a lot of these, a lot of these professions, we see them as like, we expect them to be very serious and professional.
Mhm.
And he was not. He was very, he had jokes and he was goofing off. And,
Yeah.
it's his personality coming through.
Yeah.
And I think
And
it's,
go ahead. Sorry.
I was
Please
just
finish.
going to say, I think the view of professionalism is changing. I think people want more transparency because if you're too stern or too professional, it's almost like, but who are you really? Because you're not showing us, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. There's so much. I love those examples because
Yeah.
it breaks down an industry stereotype, which,
Yeah.
is really just a construct. But it also, there's something there. And the reason that people don't do those things that you're just talking about, and this is what I hear all the time. Well, there's two reasons. There's usually two reasons. One of the reasons is they don't actually know themselves very well, right?
Yeah.
Which is a big problem.
Mm-hmm.
And the other reason is they don't want to turn people off,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. That's a big one.
And
Mm-hmm.
to me, really successful branding turns a lot of people off.
Yes.
And it's not about being confrontational. It's not about turning people away.
Mm-hmm.
It's simply about saying like, this is what we're about. This is the way I do things. This is who I am. This is my
Yeah.
personality. And this is what you get. And there's just like your friend circle, like there are
Mm-hmm.
people you hang out with and people that you don't hang out with. And it's not that you hate the people that you don't hang out with. I just don't gravitate
Just
towards
vibe
them.
with them better. Yeah. And
Right.
that's the thing too. I like what you said. It's not about turning people off or turning them away. That's naturally going to happen,
Right.
but it's more about finding your people. It's more about finding those people that, vibe with you, relate with you, want to work with you, because, it's not about like, oh, how, I don't want this to get misinterpreted because you have to have the qualifications. You have to be good at what you do. But it's not so much anymore about like, oh, you have all of these accolades and all of these awards and things like that. People want to work with those they know, like, and trust. And that comes, from your branding and how you're presenting yourself to the world.
Yeah.
And if I don't really care how, many accolades you have or how many awards you have, if I don't feel comfortable working with you or there's just something there that's off, I'm probably not going to work with you. I'm going to go find the person who I vibe with. Or who matches my, just who matches with my values and philosophy and all of that.
That's huge. In this global economy, like now you can choose your doctor. Like that wasn't a thing before. There was a doctor in your city and that's your doctor, right? But now you can choose your doctor. So now, things like bedside manner is super important, right? Personality, obviously specialty is important. But there's a million doctors out there that do the same thing on paper, right? So I can pick the one that I enjoy being around the most now, right?
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
maybe they suck a little bit, and maybe I'll find somebody else. But I'd rather be with somebody who's good at what they do and I
Mhm.
really jive with versus someone who's, maybe slightly better at what they do and they just,
Yeah,
I don't ever talk to them.
exactly. I mean, I used to drive 45 minutes just to go to the dentist because I liked my hygienist.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? Sure, could I have went to the dentist that was like 10 minutes down the road? Sure. But
Hmm.
see, yeah,
And that's
and it really
branding.
does. It comes back. Yes, it comes back to branding. It might not have been her practice, her dental office, but her herself, she had her own, loyal patients and everything. So you could look at her as her own brand, you know?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I think
But
it's,
yeah, I'm sorry.
I just think that is important.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I think a lot of people miss that. They think that there's a way it has to be done, but they forget that we are humans, and at the human level we are attracted to people that are like us, that share our values, that have similar personalities. Sure,
Yeah.
there's like, I would say there's it's very few and far between, but there's someone who is so expert at their field that
Mhm.
you just say, well, this person's a jerk, but they just know it. So I'm gonna
Yeah.
take them. That is probably a very small,
It's
very
very
small.
rare. Yeah.
For the most part, we say, I'm gonna listen to this person because I think they know what they're talking about and I like their approach.
Yeah.
And so to not be afraid to make that,
Hmm.
up front, and again in a branded way, like this is how I approach it. This is my personality. This is my tone of
Yeah.
voice. And just being upfront, because what you're
Hmm.
doing is you're saving everybody a lot of time.
Exactly.
Now they know what they're getting.
Exactly.
You don't have to like weed through to be like, oh man, are they going to stay connected with me, man? I sure hope so.
Yeah. And
Now if
then
I turn on who I am, are they going to leave? Like,
yeah, exactly. And you yourself as the business owner don't have to worry about there being, hopefully don't have to worry about there being a high turnover,
yeah,
rate. You can keep loyal customers or clients. So yeah, I mean, yeah, it just really all goes back to branding and who you are. And it doesn't matter if you're a solo entrepreneur or a small to medium business or even a large corporation like Nike, that brand is what keeps people loyal. So
absolutely.
yeah.
They just started coming out with like quantification metrics for branding itself and
Oh, nice.
total brand value. And I think it was something like with Coca-Cola, it was something like 37% of their market cap exists just in the brand alone. And so the
Oh, yeah.
experience, the experience that people have drinking a Coke,
Mhm.
the awareness of the symbol, like the values of Coke, they estimate that the value of that is worth 37% of their market cap, which is
Wow.
billions and billions of
Yeah.
dollars.
Yeah.
It
It's
can be
almost in a
measured
way,
now.
to me, it almost in a way feels priceless because
Yeah, it
that's
is.
something you can't just like, I just can't, you just can't work with me and be like, all right, Lindsay, I'm going to make the world see you as, XYZ. It's like, no, you just have to, you can over time, but it's like, you really got to work at that and really solidify or clarify your message. And then over time, hopefully get to where Coca-Cola is,
Yeah,
you
but it's
know?
a lot, and but it's if if you're the kind of person who's trying to make money tomorrow,
Yeah.
don't
Nope.
don't bother with branding.
Right.
Just I don't know who your listenership is, but I read this article one time. Like, if you want to make money, just start a porn site because they make money. I'm not advocating that, by the way. I'm not
Right.
advocating. I'm just
No,
saying,
but yeah,
make money
but
tomorrow. Don't do any branding.
it's true. It's true because like you said, it's something you build over time. And I always say that with my clients with marketing. I have, I'll have consultation calls and people will be like, well, I want to be, here in 2 months or here in a month or 3 months. And I'm like, I cannot guarantee that. Like, I can't guarantee that. We will do all of, I will do everything that I can to get you in front of people and all of that, but you can't guarantee that you're going to have, 25 new clients next week,
Right.
right? Because brand, it's all about relationship building, branding, marketing. Branding, they're getting to know you. Marketing, you're building the relationship, and then converting them. So yeah,
Mhm.
it's definitely not an overnight thing. Yeah, it
Yeah.
has to
So
be an investment.
if you want
Mhm.
do something, like if you're trying to build a business, a career, a
Yeah.
legacy, an enterprise, whatever, invest in your branding
Mm-hmm.
in parallel, because you need to make money probably at
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
point, in parallel with everything else. Don't just focus
Mm-hmm.
on the business, don't just focus on the product or the service, also focus on
Oh,
what we
yeah.
values, the personality, what do we want to convey, who do we want to convey that to,
Mm-hmm.
get that, and then go right into marketing so you can start to get
Yeah.
that out to people, so you can start to build that revenue stream.
Exactly. And I like how you say do it in parallel because you're going to learn along the way as well. Because you could set up an entire brand before you even start your business. You're going to set up an entire brand. You're going to, know exactly what you want to do. And then you hop into it and you're like, well, wait a minute.
Yeah,
This
terrible
maybe
idea.
isn't what we thought it was, or maybe we're going in the wrong direction here. So yeah, you have to do a little bit of research as you go and then solidify things. And that's again why I said, branding, marketing, all that. It does take time if you want, like you said, to have it be long lasting.
Mhm. But what people are finding out, and especially people who are now becoming very successful, they will all tell you, I wish I would have had invested more into my branding at the beginning. If I understood the long tail of this,
Yeah.
I would have invested more early on, because it would have got me to my goal faster. Even though it's a long ramp up period, it would have gotten to the
Right.
goal faster than just continuously pouring into sales and new products and all this
Yeah.
kind of stuff. So you're hearing that all the time from some of the most successful people in the world. Uh,
Yeah.
it can't be overstated, but I also don't, or it can't be understated, excuse me.
Yeah.
But I don't want to overstate it. Like, it's not the only thing. And this is from a branding person. You
Yeah.
need to be
Right.
on brand, you need to be aligned, you need to understand your foundations, but you also need to build a good product. You need expertise in
Hmm.
your field. You need to learn how to market it correctly. You need to know how to sell it. Like, you need all these pieces,
Yeah.
but don't neglect the foundation.
Yep. I agree completely. And someone said my slogan should be it all works together because I always say it.
Uh,
I always say it all works together. And it's true. Everything from branding and marketing and sales, all of that. But then within each of those, there's a lot of things in branding that work together, a lot of things in marketing that all work together. It just
mm,
all works together.
all
But
together.
the foundation still is and will always be branding.
Mm, I love
Yeah.
that.
But yeah, I think this was really great. I think this is hopefully, people got a lot of good information from this and kind of understand branding a little better and how it works with marketing and then also leading into sales, all of that. So
Well, that's why I
yeah.
appreciate you. That's why I wanted to do it with you, because
Yeah.
it's not a battle about which one is better.
No.
You understand the holistic approach, that all these things need to work together. And so,
Yeah.
when you can find a marketing person who also says branding is super important and sales are super important, when you find that kind of marketing person,
Yeah.
grab them, hire them, uh, because it's not going to be a
Well,
battle.
same with the branding person too.
Yeah. You don't
Yeah,
want your business to be a battle about which one is more important. You want it to be like, how do we all come together to make this thing happen? And,
exactly.
and I think that's a crucial point.
Oh, I love that. Thanks, Tim.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. Well, thanks so much, Tim.
Yeah, my
I'll be
pleasure.
in
Thank you.
touch
All right, cool.
and we'll see each other on Instagram, I'm sure.
All right. Have a good
All
day.
right. Thanks so much. Thanks again to my guest, Tim Beeler. I will have details as to where you can find Tim in the description of this podcast. And remember the importance of your brand. Everything should be clear, consistent, and that starts with your brand, because a solid brand is necessary if you want your marketing to be successful. And once again, I'm Lindsay Berta, founder of Berta Marketing, a marketing agency designed specifically for small business owners, where I handle all of your marketing so you can focus on what you love. For more small business marketing tips, subscribe to this podcast or find me online at bertamarketing.com. Thanks for listening.